Jai Hind everyone. Myself Pancham Singh. I am going to discuss one of the important topic of the machine learning is regression. So in this topic, I am going to discuss about how regression is work and why regression is important in machine learning. So machine learning subject is very important because it is a demanding subject like blockchain technology, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and Gen AI. There are a lot of subjects are there. So machine learning is very popular because whatever you are doing right now, yeah, today or in future, uh, all of the things like in social media platform, we are searching the things with the help of the artificial intelligence. By using the machine learning, we are going to predict the weather forecasting, house price prediction. So there are a number of examples are there. By using machine learning, we can perform various tasks by using the ML models. So we are going to discuss point by point why machine learning is important and what is the role of the regression in ML. So regression, with the help of the example, we are going to explain. So regression means in machine learning, regression is a supervised learning task. So machine learning is divided in two categories, supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised means it will work on the label data. Unsupervised means it will work on the non-label data. So supervised machine learning task aim at the predicting continuous numerical value from the input data. So it will work on the input data, input values, and it works by the modeling the relationship between the one or more independent variables like features, dependent variables like targets. So it will focus on the input values in the form of the number, the digit, and it also work on the various types of features on which your model we are going to predict the value. We are going to give the example. The model is trained on the label data. Though this is the important point. Basically, why machine learning is important and how machine learning is work on the supervised learning. Supervised learning means we are training the machine with the help of the label data. So label data is very important, where both the inputs and corresponding outputs are known, and input value is trained by the label data, and you are getting the output value as the label data, and uses this learned relationship to make prediction on new unseen data. So because model is work on the data set, so if you have the good data set, then you are getting the good results. If you are not having the good data set, then you are not getting the good result. So prediction is based upon the data set. So what type of data set you are taking and from which place we are taking the data set. So data set we are going to collect from authorized site, yeah, some unauthorized site. So it depends upon the collection of the data, because data set play a very key important role in the machine learning for prediction. What are the example of the regression? So we are going to explain with the help of the example. So imagine you want to predict the price of the house. So if you are going to predict the price of the house, so we need the dimension, we need the length and breadth, area. On the basis of that, we are going to predict the house price. So dimension in terms of the size of the house. What is the size of the house in the form of the square feet? Let's say some house had 950 square feet, 1050 square feet, 2050 square feet. What is the size? So on the basis of the size, on the basis of the variables, we are going to predict the cost of the house. So price of the house based on the factor like size, it depends upon the size, location, and number of rooms. So this is the three important key point where from which with the help of that we are going to predict the price of the house. So each of these factor is called the features, because these are the features of the house. These are the features or variables of the house. With the help of that we are going to predict the cost. And the price is target. So what is the target? Target is we are going to predict the price, cost of the house. A regression model learns the relationship between these features and then target price from existing data. So what is the data? What is the existing data is there? On the basis of that, on the basis of features, we are going to predict the cost of the house. Once the model has learned this, it can be used to predict the price of new house based on its feature. So if you have the features, then we can with the help of the size, with the help of the location, with the help of the number of rooms, we can predict the cost of the house. So this is the best example of regression. Now regression is a common technique in the machine learning and is used in the many applications including machine learning. Regression is very important part of the machine learning, where you are going to use in the different areas. Let's say, for example, we are going to use regression in weather forecasting, predicting the healthcare trends, forecasting house price prediction. I have already told about the house price prediction. Predicting the stock price. So if you are going to predict the stock price, so we can find out the features of the stock price. On the basis of that, we are going to predict the stock price prediction. Predicting the salary changes. On the basis of the features, we are going to predict the salary of the person. Now predicting the portfolio performance. So you can also predict the portfolio on the basis of the features, on the basis of the area, size, on the basis of area where people is belong, on the basis of their input values. So these are the features, these are the common features which are related to that prediction. So that play a key role, a key important role for the predicting the result, target value. So these are the important area where regression testing, regression is applicable, regression is used. So these are the areas. Now I am going to discuss one by one how regression is divided into two main categories. So regression is basically divided into two main categories. So there are many types of regression, but right now we have to focus only two types of regression. So there are n number of not you can say more number of regression types are available, but we are mainly focused on two types. First is the linear regression and second is logistic regression. So these are the two important regression techniques, linear regression and logistic regression. So here you can see the example. Regression is divided into many categories like linear regression, logistic regression, third one is lasso regression, fourth one is Rice regression, and last one is polynomial regression. So all regression is work on different way, on the value of the different features, on the different input variables. So linear regression is work on linear way, lasso regression is work on the another way, and polynomial regression is work on the polynomial variables on which we can predict the answer. So these are the linear regression. We are going to discuss in detail how linear regression is work. Actually, linear regression is used when the relationship between the dependent and independent variable is assumed to be linear. So it work on the linear way. The variables is, let's say y equals to mx plus c. So y equals to mx plus c. So x is the variable. So y is depend on the value of the x. If x is increases, y is increases. If x is decreases, y is decreases. So it is work on the linear way. So this is the linear regression. It is suitable for continuous numerical data and when a straight line can predict the response variable. So because here you are using two variables, and two variables means one variable is independent and second is dependent. If independent variable you are going to change the value, then you are going to get the value of the y. So x is independent and y is dependent. So we can predict the linear results. Linear regression is a fundamental and widely used statistical method for modeling the relationship between the dependent variable and one or independent variable. I have already discussed about one is dependent variable and second is independent variable. Dependent means it depend upon the another variables. Independent means that cannot depend on any variables. So that is dependent and dependent. Let's say you can see this example. where this line is showing how this line is going to draw with the help of the independent variable. So independent variable is x, our dependent variable is y. So y equals to mx plus c, where x is going to change, y is going to change. So x is independent, but y is dependent. So this is the example where you can get the answer. So this is the example we can formulate like y equals to b naught plus b1x plus c. So this is the linear equation where x is independent but y is dependent. Now uses of linear regression, where we are using the linear regression. So linear regression basically used in different areas for prediction. Using linear regression, we can plot the graph of the sales versus advertising. So sales versus advertising means it show the linear regression. So and find the line of the best fit between them, and using that find the value of the missing variable. So with the help of this, let's say we have divided two columns. One is advertisement, second is sales. Okay, so here is advertisement is written in the x variable and sales is written in the y variable. So x variable is advertisement, that is independent, or y is written on the sales is written on the y axis, and this is the dependent. So it is independent and this is dependent. On the basis of that, we are going to plot the graph. If any value is missing, with the help of the graph you can find out. Okay, with the help of the previous value. So what is the previous value? On the basis of that, we can find out the next value of that graph or next value of the table. So on the basis of that, we can predict. So this is the simple example how one dependent variable is work on the basis of independent variable. Some advantages and disadvantages of linear regression are given. Not linear regression. Easy to use. You can use easily. Clear results because it depends upon the variables, input variables. One is dependent and another is independent. Okay, quick calculation. We can easily calculate results with the help of the feature. Work well for the straight line because it is work on the straight line, because here is one is dependent and second is independent. So it is easily we can draw the straight line. Build a foundation. So we can build a foundation. It helps you learn about more advanced method later. So we can learn the values. Okay, so we can create a foundation. Some disadvantages of the linear regression are only for straight line, because we can work only on the linear way. Linear way means we are going to work on the straight line. Easily affected by outlinear. Okay, so extreme value can be changed the result a lot. If you are going to increase the extreme value, then it will affect on the value of the graph. Struggle with the complexity because it is simple but it is not complex. It is not complex for the polynomial equation and other equations. So it is simple and it is not giving the good result on the complexity. Needs independent data because it will work on the independent data. You are putting the independent data. On the basis of that, we are going to calculate the result. Let's say we are going to give the independent data of the x. On the basis of that, we are going to calculate the dependent value of the y. Requires consistency variance. It's expected that the speed of the error in the same across the data, which is not always true. So consistency issue generally occur. Consistent variables requires consistent variance. So it expects that the speed of the error in the same across the data, which is not always true. This type of disadvantage also occur in the linear regression. What about the logistic regression? Another most important topic of the machine learning is logistic regression. So logistic regression is a type of machine learning model used for classification. So we are using two types of regression and classification. So regression means it work on the features. On the basis of that, we are going to predict the cost of the house. We are going to predict the weather forecasting. We are going to predict the stock market prediction, and etc. So logistic regression is work on the classification. So we are going to classify the data, classify the objects, where the goal is to predict the whether something belong to one of two category, like yes, no, true, false, or spam or not. So it is depend upon the classification. Classification simple way you can say, we are going to find out either this is true, either this is false, either this is a dog, either this is a cat. So on the basis of that, we are truly find out the yes no answer. So yes no means either it is true, either it is false. Instead of predicting a continuous number like in the linear regression, logistic regression predict the probability. Probability means true false. How much percentage it is true, how much percentage it is false. Yeah, what is the chance of the happening, chance of the failure. So that is based upon the probability. That can input belong to a particular class, like the probability that can email in spam. So if you are going to predict the spam prediction of the mail, so how many spams are there, how many spams are not there. So on the basis of probability, we are going to predict your mail is 70%, yes, 80% spammed full, and it is spam free. So it is not giving the exact answer, but it is giving the appropriate answer on the basis of probability. So this is the some example. The results is a value between 0 and 1. So the answer is vary between 0 and 1, because probability is vary between 0 and 1. So here is the some images how we are going to answer about the logistic regression. So will it rain today? Yes, no. So we are going to give the answer either yes or no. So how much percentage, how many probability of that today it will rain. So it is going to predict the percentage, or you can say it is going to predict the probability. So either it is yes, either it is no. Second is student results, either pass or fail. So there are two categories, either student is pass, either student is fail. Accident survival, either accident will happen, either accident not happen, or you can say either you can decrease or increase the accident. So it is basically depend upon the probability. So logistic regression is work on the basis of the probability. In logistic regression, instead of fitting a regression line, we fit an S-shaped logistic function which predict two maximum values, either 0 or 1. So we are going to predict the value in between 0 and 1. So logistic regression can be used to classify the observation using different types of data. So it is work on the data. So work on the data means we are collecting the data, applying the model. On the basis of that, we are going to predict the probability. Okay. Logistic regression can be used to classify the observation using the different types of data and easily determine the most effective variables used for the classification. The value of the image is showing the logistic function. So it is not a straight line, because it is vary between 0 and 1. Okay. So here you can see the graph. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. So the value started from green point is showing the probability, how much chance of the graph you have values. So this is the green point, and now we are y equals to 0.3. Here you are getting the value. This is the threshold value. and now we are going to move to the upper level. So this is the graph basically that is showing the logistic regression on the basis of value of x, and we are getting the value of y. But you must be ensured that we are not getting the straight line, because the value is vary between 0 and 1. Similarly, logistic regression, it is a sigmoid function. It is not a straight line function. So the value of x and value of y, we are getting the sigmoid way. Sigmoid function, we are getting sigmoid function. This is sigmoid function on the basis of the probability value. So in the first point, the sigmoid function is a mathematical function used to map the predicted value to probability. Okay. Second point is it maps any real value into the another value within the range of 0 and 1. So this is the value between 0 and 1 where it will vary. The value of the logistic regression must be between 0 and 1, which cannot be go beyond this limit. So it's form a curve-like function. So it is producing a curve-like structure. The S forms curves is called the sigmoid function or the logistic function, because it is producing the S-like function, sigmoid function. So it is easily you can see in the graph. So this is the graph basically. All three graphs are showing the sigmoid values, sigmoid function, and how the graph is going to work on the basis of the x independent value with the dependent value. So there are some examples. We can use the sigmoid function, how we are going to calculate. So in this figure we can clearly see, so this is the independent variables and this is the dependent variable. I have already explained you. It work on the sigmoid function and it will produce the value between 0 and 1. So this is the independent variable, this is the dependent variable, how we are going to produce. So this is the formula. By using this formula, we can predict the answer. So formula is log y divided by 1 minus y equals to c plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 and so on. So this is the value. With the help of this, we can calculate the sigmoid value, yes, sigmoid function. Usage of logistic regression, where you are going to use this one. A logistic regression can be used to predict for it as a student will pass or fail. So if you are going to predict the value, the student is pass or fail with the help of the regression. So exam based on the number of hours they spend studying, the student variable is pass or fail, which are representing. So actually the student is pass or fail, it depends upon the number of questions which are asked in the examination. What is the paper pattern? Okay, what is the preparation of that student? How the evaluator are evaluating the answer sheet? So there are many factors. On the basis of that, we are going to predict either student is will be pass or fail. So here is the admission process. So admission and CGPA. So admission and CGPA, if you are going to discuss about how many admission students belong from this group and how many students belong from this group and what are the CGPA and what. So it will depend upon the studying hours and preparation, that is preparation, studying hour is preparation, and it depends upon the question paper as well as evaluator. So on the basis of that, we can predict either student will be pass or fail. Types of logistic regression, it is divided into three main categories: binomial regression, multinomial and ordinominal. So this is the three category where we are going to distinguish the regression. First is very simple, where we are going to simply giving the answer either 0 or 1, either pass or fail. Second is we are going to predict the among the different images, how many are cats, how many are dogs on the basis of their features, shape, size, color. So there are many factors. On the basis of that we are going to predict. So, and third one is the ordinal. In ordinal logistic regression there can be 3 or more possible order types of dependent. So there are different types of dependent variables such as low, medium or high. This is the category. Advantage of logistic regression: easy to use, good for yes, no, gives probabilities, handle curve relationship. At disadvantage: need lots of data, because we need the data. Because if you are going to train the model in such a way that it can take the decision right way, so we need the correct data, and we need to train the model in with the huge amount of data. Assume a simple relationship only for 2 options. Okay, so it's assume a specific way the factors relate to the outcomes. Okay, only for 2 options, mainly used for 2 choices, not for multiple options. So it work on the 2 choices, either yes or no. So this is the difference between the logistic regression and linear regression. So this table is very easily you can understand how logistic regression is different than linear regression. So about the definition: to predict the continuous dependent variable based on the value of independent variable, I have already discussed. But it will predict the value to predict the categorical dependent variable based on the value of the independent variable. Categorical means we are going to categorize what type of features, what type of variables we are taking. Second point is variables type: continuous dependent variables and categorical dependent variables. So variables, selection of variables are varies. Estimation method: least square estimation you will use in the linear regression, but maximum likelihood estimation you will take in the logistic regression. Best fit line: we are getting the answer in a straight line, but we are getting the answer in the curve or sigmoid. Relationship between DB and IB: linear relationship between the dependent variable and independent, because if you are going to predict the answer, so answer will get with the help of the independent variable. Linear relationship is not mandatory, because you will not use the linear regression in the logistic regression. Output: predict integral values, predict boundary values. So you are getting the result in the integer form, but you are getting the result in the 0 and 1 form, because your value is range between the 0 and 1. Application: business domain, forecasting, etc. But in case of the logistic regression, classification problems, cyber security problem, image processing, so we can use in different areas for the classification. Okay, classification problem like spam detection, cyber security issues, image processing. So these are used in the different